I wanted to fly like the birds that you see way up in the sky, making circles in the morning sun, flying high in the sky till the day is done. I can't break away like a child in his fantasy, punching holes in the walls of reality. All my life I wanted to fly, but I don't have the wings, and I wonder why. I can't break away. I can't break away. Mama told me when I was young, stand tall, girl, you're number one. But you can't be what you wanna be, but you can't change the course of your destiny. I can't break away. No, I can't break away. I said, one is one, two is two. You want me and I have you. Black is black and white is white. So come out in the middle tree, stand light. I can't go away. No, I can't break away. When I was young, said I told her you're number one. She said, well, you can't be what you wanna be, but you can change the course of your destiny. I can't go on. No, I can't go on.
All right, here we go. Thought I'd give you guys a little bit of time to get here. Those of you that wanted to check this live podcast out as it goes. Sorry it's been so long since I've been able to do one of these. I've been on vacation, so good to see everybody. I've got live chat going. What's up, Sarah? What's up, Paul? Oh, what's up, Kyle? I think that is. Yeah, thanks, man. I like the music too, man. It's that is some old school shit right there. That's from like I don't know. I think it's like 1988, something like that. So probably predates a lot of you. I wouldn't doubt it. But it's good to see everybody, and that time of year. I guess everybody's getting ready for Christmas, those of you that celebrate that. And, you know, I'm not going to be ashamed to say that it's not really, it's never been about the Christian aspect of it for me. It's just been about getting together with your family and friends and gift giving and showing your appreciation for people and what they mean to you in your life, that kind of thing. So nothing wrong with that. But got a few things to go over today. Got some news, got some things to talk about that'll be coming up. Got some things on Facebook that I saw that I wanted to mention. So I guess I'll get started with some news. So I will be joining Become a Living God here very soon. Me and my buddy J.S. Garrett are going to be doing some things together. We've got a podcast that we'll be recording over the weekend that should be out on that channel sometime next week, I would assume. And then I'm also going to be hosting a new podcast series on that channel, which will be called EA Co-Wedding Unmasked. And that's going to be really the viewers and subscribers' way to really get to know him a little bit better as a person, as a man. Kind of all magic aside, what makes him tick, what he's all about. Other things that have happened in his life, things of that nature we're going to talk about. What's up, Jacob Carls? How you doing, man? Good to see you, as always. And here coming up very soon, I'd say in the next week or so on this channel, I'm going to do a podcast with Orly Stewart. She's an occultist. She has her own channel that goes by her name, Orly Stewart. It's really awesome. You should check it out. So I'm going to have Luciferian Kyle Michael Dory on here, I'd say in the next week or so as well. We're going to be doing a podcast together. He's and I really like the content that he's putting out as well. He's doing a lot of really cool things, and I think you guys would really enjoy him as well. But anyhow, some things that I have been thinking about lately that I wanted to pass along that I think will be very powerful for you. When it comes to ritual evocation, spell work, things like that. Yeah, I want to do one with David Romano. We've been trying to set that up for a while, actually, Paul. I want to, for sure. I love that guy. But, we talk about ritual evocation. It's discussed that, sorry, my computer, which is why I'm so late. My computer's been a piece of shit today. So I apologize for being about an hour and a half late from the time that I had posted that this was going to begin. So if you know me, you know that I'm always late. So I'm sorry. So if I say 8:30 Eastern, it probably means more like 9:30 Eastern, 10 o'clock, something like that. But I try to get started on time, though. I don't like being late, but it just happens. It just happens. Sorry. But getting sidetracked again. So we talk about, doing a ritual for whatever your intent is, and then forgetting about it so that it can manifest, kind of setting and forgetting type of approach. And that's all well and good, and I think that is the correct way to do it. But one thing that I hadn't really been doing that I think it's really making an impact in my life and in my magic overall is that you need to develop a daily ritual that you will do just for self-awareness, self-empowerment, really just to always be in that magical mindset and kind of immersing yourself in whatever current it is, the path working that you're doing. And this can be as simple or as complex as you like, but it's got to be something that you're going to be able to do every single day. Whether it's 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it is, it could be 2 minutes. But this is something that you need to do the same way every time. You need to write it out. And I think that, that's why they call it a ritual for a reason, because it's something in the same manner over and over again. So this is something that will pay off big time for you. And if you think you don't have time, you need to find the time to do it, because that's what dedication to a path is all about, is being dedicated, being serious about what it is that you're trying to do and trying to accomplish, and making time for the things that are important to you. So whether that's getting up 30 minutes early every day and performing the ritual then, or whether that's before you go to bed or before lunch, whatever it is, find that time and stick to it. And that's going to be part of your daily routine no matter what. No matter what happens, you're going to. And if you miss that, the set time that you had established, you need to have a backup time so that you can make sure that you get that done. And this can look like however you want it to look. I would say whatever you associate with the most according to your astrological correspondences for your personal chart, whether you resonate the most with water, with fire, with earth, with air, whatever it is, you should incorporate that element into this ritual more than any other. I think that you're going to get better results in that regard if you do that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Paul's saying there's no point in doing a vocation if you can't commit, and that's right. It's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get. That's I think that holds true for everything in life. Whether it's playing an instrument, whether it's having sex, whatever it is, the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And this will help you with everything else that you do in Magick, because you're going to make it a part of your culture. It's going to become second nature to you. It's going to become a natural thing that you do. It's not going to be, what's up, Christine? How are you? It's not going to be one of these things where every time you go into an evocation, you haven't done it enough to where it's something that you feel. So this will help you to become more comfortable in that setting, in that environment, which will make, I think that'll just really make everything that you do that much more fluent. You can have a greater impact in your Magick, and you're not going to have any hesitation. You're not going to have that second guessing as much as you may have had in the past. So this is something that's very simple that can really pay off for you big time. And again, you can do this any way you want to do it. If anybody needs any help in setting up personal ritual like that, just let me know. I'll be glad to help you out. Point you in the right direction, things of that nature. I'll probably, it's nice to meet you too, Christine. I really appreciate you joining us, and look forward to getting to know you better. And, I'll probably release the details of my daily ritual here at some point. But again, it's kind of unique and personal to me, and it may work just fine for you or something that is along those lines. But anything that you create by your own mind and your own hand I think is going to always be more impactful for you personally than it would be utilizing someone else's ritual. Though you can use it as an outline or as a guide, you should always incorporate your own elements of things into it. You add your own flair, your own twist on it, that kind of stuff. Another thing that I wanted to throw out there that I think is vitally important, and I probably touched on it before and this, but I think it's one of those things where there's a lot out there that maybe they don't do this. And if you don't do this, you're really missing out. You're really selling yourself short of the rate of your spiritual ascent and what it could be. You know, if you're having a hard time, this can be why. This could be one of the reasons why. You know, spirits are going to send messages to you, not really when it's convenient for you, but when it's the right time for them. And these messages can be fairly simple, or they can be a little complex, and they can jump from one thing to the next, kind of like I do. So it can be hard to information and to keep it in your mind. There's so many just profound nuggets of knowledge and information that I have been sent that I thought I would remember, and I totally forgot it because I did not write it down, because I did not have a notebook and a pen with me at all times. And this can be something like this. You know, I kind of use something like this a lot. Or you can use something that you can keep in your pocket. You can always use your phone if you want to, or a tablet, but you know, to rely on technology in that way, your battery could die or whatever. You might be having an issue with your phone or your tablet, and you might not be able to get that information down, but you can always write it. So I have made a point to keep with me, or a few pens with me for that matter, all the time, because things will start to come in, and that's when I'm going to go to that notebook and I'm going to start writing that shit down. And a lot of times it's going to seem like this stuff is coming from your... Oh, damn it. Sorry, I forgot to silence that phone. Let me do that now. A lot of times it's going to seem like it's coming from your own mind, of course, but that's not the case. Always, anyways. I mean, it could be some of that sometimes, depending on the situation, but most of the time, this is going to be spirit communication. So you need to be able to recognize it for what it is. And you may not always know who it is that's speaking to you. The more you get accustomed to certain spirits and their energetic signatures and that kind of thing, you'll who it is. You know, or they may just come out and let you know, or they may have a physical thing that they do to you, or a sensation that they invoke within your body, so that you know, okay, hey, this is Lilith, or this is Belial, whoever it is that's speaking to you. But make sure that you document things, especially in your spell work and your evocations. Make sure that you write it down, have the date, you know, draw out some sigils or diagrams if that's what comes to you. You know, if you do a, and I get this information all the time. You know, I kind of downloaded, I guess, in a sense, different spells, different rituals. I can see in my mind layout of the ritual should look like. You know, what candles and what colors should be where, what kind of incense I should use. You know, and like, again, if there's a sigil involved, what that looks like, and I'll draw that out. If there's other implements that are going to be involved and or utilized, and then if there's any variations to it. And if there are variations to it, you need to document that you did it in this manner this time, and if you did it again a couple of weeks later, you did it in this manner this time. And how did that change the results that you got? You know, how did that change the manifestation? Or did one method not produce anything, but the second one produce something? And if that's the case, did the first one have any impact on the second one? Did the two of those rituals combined with the variation, is that what produced the result? So you need to try that out too. You need to kind of cover all your bases and really, you know, be a scientist in that matter. Trial and error is always going to be involved in this. Part of the exciting part of doing all this is that you always have kind of that element of surprise of what are you going to get? What kind of positive manifestation are you going to get from the work that you're doing? What's up, Violet? Good to see you. Haven't heard from you in a while. Glad that you could make it as well. But these are things that, while they are very basic and rudimentary things, they're very easy to overlook, and they're very easy to kind of miss the whole, miss how important they are to the process. These little simple things, while they may seem like they're things that you can just do without, because they may seem insignificant, they are very significant. And I think especially writing things down, that is of extreme importance. Because I don't care how good your memory is, and I don't care if you have a photographic memory or what, a lot of that stuff, it just does not stay in your mind. But if you write it down, you can go to it, and that will kind of spark that memory to come back. And so be as detailed as you can be. I really try to do that, especially with drawing things out too. And then I'll even draw little arrows to the candles and say, like, okay, this one's black, this one's white. Whatever it is, however I've got it set up, I'm gonna really, let me see if I can find an example here to show you guys. Now, this is kind of crazy, okay? The way that I write things out, they make sense to me. They may not make sense to you. But, this is something from the other day. Now, this is going to look a bunch of chicken scratch bullshit, probably, but it works for me. Let me see if I can show you guys this here. All right, here we go. Yeah, see, like, I know that is probably like, what the fuck is that? Well, my camera's doing that, but it wants to do that. But, shit. All right, here we go. Okay. So, it can look like this, if that's what works for you. And then just making outlines of other things. Random thoughts, different parts of rituals and things. I mean, this is really the beginning of it's going to be like a wishing well spell that I'm putting together that's going to incorporate all of the elements, and it's going to be used for a lot of different things, really, really just for kind of manifesting whatever it is that you want. Whether it's money or power, whatever it is, I'll have that coming out too. Oh, thanks, Violet. I appreciate that. But it's another thing that I'm going to be doing, and this is going to be kind of something that I think it's going to be able to, everybody that's a subscriber that participates and utilizes this sigil right here, we're going to be able to pool our power together and really be able to all benefit from it. And what I'm calling this thing is, it's going to be called Tribe Temple. And the sigil for Tribe Temple looks like this. Okay, so it's got the sigil of Jupiter. It's got a hexagram, which that is significant or indicative of divine, balance between divine feminine, divine masculine energy. It's got the symbol for Aries at the bottom. I'm an Aries, but it's really more so to incorporate that that Aries energy of really wanting to push the ball forward and move the ball forward, to be a trailblazer, to be aggressive, you know, that kind of thing. The number 11 right here, kind of going through it on the other side. That's going to be to just add my camera's being a fucker. I don't know why it's doing this, but I'm dealing with it. But the number 11's in there. And for the number 11, it can mean a lot of things to a lot of, you know, many different people. But it for in this, let me see. I've got it right here written down, all the different aspects of that number, because I don't want to miss anything. And I think this really touches on it very, very well. Okay, so number 11 is a master number. It's instinctual, charismatic, dynamic, and capable when its sights are set on a concrete goal. It's a very psychic number, having to do with your intuition, things of that nature, manifest. So when that number is applied in regards to working with moving things towards a goal, number 11 can be very powerful. So that's the sigil, and I will post that up. Any of you that want to use that, you know, feel free to use it. And I kind of come to an understanding of how to pull energy in and how to push it forth. And especially in my healing work, I always thought that my hands had a lot to do with it, because I could always feel energy in the palm of my hands, but I always thought that I was pushing it with my hands. But I've come to realize that your third eye is really responsible for pushing energy, well, for pushing your will and your intent in correlation with your inner black flame. So the way that I've come to understand it, and if you try this at home to really feel this circuit as I'm going to explain it and create it, I think that you will come to the conclusion that is what is happening. But you may disagree too, and that's fine. But it's the way that I've been able to really produce a great deal of power is whatever it is that you're focusing on. Like, let's just say it's this candle right here. Okay, so if I wanted to feed energy into it, I'm also going to be pulling energy from it. And so that's going to be through my hands. And so as I'm looking at it, I am going to visualize energy being pulled from the candle into the palm of my hand, down my arm. If you want to filter it through your heart, you can. Filter it through my solar plexus. I'm just going to go down into my root chakra. And once it's there, I'm going to feel my PC muscle engage, which really kind of triggers that inferno, my inner black flame and my true will and desire to well up and to really start to burn even heavier than it was before, yeah, in a much more powerful way. So once it's there, once that energy is there in my PC muscle, then it's going to travel up the back of my spine, up the Kundalini, down to the Zeal chakra right here, the mouth of God. From there, it's going to travel straight across to my third eye, and then it's going to project out into the candle there. Once it's in the candle, then I'm going to pull energy back in with my hand. It's going to kind of go back around. And when I'm doing this, what I'm envisioning a lot of the times is kind of like a conveyor belt almost, from my Zeal chakra to my third eye, so that it's kind of going like this, and like kind of almost like a belt sander, if you want to look at it like that. And I can kind of feel that texture that is created by the sound of a belt sander running. And so it's just going to kind of be like that conveyor, just really generating a lot of energy like that. Give that a try and see how you feel with that. You can visualize taking that energy all the way down and all the way back up and that kind of thing. Once I get it established, then I kind of keep it here and just let that energy kind of go from my third eye back to my Zeal, and then back to my third eye, boom, woo, woo, woo. And then I can kind of project it out too at the same time while I'm doing that. And that's been something that's really been very empowering and very impactful for me since I've come to that realization. And that's something that when it came to me and I wrote it down and tried it out, and I was glad that I documented it. I was glad that I drew some diagrams. I was glad that I wrote down the details of exactly how I felt this was working. And I even did like a step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 as the path that the energy was traveling, from this point 1 to point 2 to point 3 to point 4, correlated with the diagram that I drew. And that way I wouldn't forget the specific manner in which that information was sent to me, so that I wouldn't just rely on my memory and be like, oh, was it this or this? Sure. Because some of these things you're not going to really at obtaining this information. They're going to send it to you, like I said before, when they want to send it to you. It could be at 3 o'clock in the morning and you could be woken up out of a dead sleep and start getting this information. And what you do with that is up to you. You can always just say, I'm tired, fuck it, roll over, go back to sleep. Or you can grab your notebook that should be beside your bed for documenting dreams and things of that nature too. But also for those moments where you do wake up and something comes to you. You want to get that down. So keeping that journal, like I said, with you always. You may even need to take it in the bathroom with you. If you're taking a bath or whatever you're doing, have that notebook. If you're doing just like a 15 or 30-minute meditation, you should have it with you. Because you never know when you're going to be interrupted and you're going to really get some profound insight or a particular message. Or it could be a new spirit that you've never worked with before that is coming to you for the first time to introduce themselves and to try to establish a relationship with you. And there could be some very important things that they want to tell you right off the bat. And if you're not able to get it down and to do anything with it, that could be the only time that you ever speak to them or that you ever get any other communication from them, because they're not going to really take you seriously, because they don't think that you're taking that communication and that potential relationship seriously. Jesus was a pig. Let me read this. I'm going to read some of these comments here really quickly because I just kind of noticed this here. There's a lot of stuff here. Hey, it's okay, Christine. We're all hard-headed. I'm still fucking hard-headed as fuck. Oh, you're Aries too? Sweet. What's up, Jafar? Okay, so it's the day of Lucifer with the hour of Venus as the 1st, 8th, and 15th hours. We still have the last available starting the 3rd of the late afternoon. Okay. Hell yeah. And the 7th planet, what is it? Round of the Deacons. Jupiter and Aries would be of disc in the age of Aquarius. Okay. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I mean, like 8 is a very important number to me, and I think it's a very important number to everybody as well. Yeah, you can build that energy up and project it out, Jacob. You can just build it up inside of yourself, or you can try to pull it from other things. Like one thing that I do, and this is not something that I do to like, not something that I do through the airways of the internet and things like that. I'm not like pushing or I'm not trying to reach out to everybody with tentacles and like use psychic vampirism on you guys or anything of that nature, but I'll do it out in public. I'll do it, wherever it seems like it's a good place to do. Like, all right, so for example, I had a big water damage in my home in late September. And so I'm here now down in my temple, which is really the only room that was like 95% unaffected. But we've been out of the house since late September, and I've been staying in an apartment. So I'm surrounded by a lot more people than I normally am. And I don't know all these people, but I've seen them. I know that, there's like 6 or 8 units that surround mine. And I will visualize sending out these tentacles and attaching to all of these people and just drawing in a little bit of their energy. I'm not trying to like hurt them in any kind of way or overdo it and really cause any problems or issues for them. But I just, I'm just pulling some energy. And so I'll do that. And I can, when I send those out, and again, I can see them in my mind's eye, and I can feel it when it attaches, and then I start pulling that energy in. You can pull it in with your third eye, but you can also pull it in with your hands and just let it cycle through, as I was explaining, and just let it build up, and you'll start to kind of get this euphoria from it. It can almost be a little too much sometimes. You can kind of have to like break that connection and be like, whoa, like, holy shit. And that's something like, psychic vampirism and things like that. I always, it's a little taboo to me. And I guess for a while I was like, that's some fucking bullshit. Like, you can't do that shit. But I can tell you that you definitely can. It's a lot easier than you think. And it can be somewhat tricky as far as, is because your mind is going to play tricks on you, and it's going to tell you that you can't do that that's not possible, that that's just some psychotic thoughts that only a crazy person would even mention or even try. And that's, that is a big waste of my time in my life doing things like that. And that's fine if that's people's opinion. And again, the Matrix and my own mind tried very, very hard to convince me that that was not real and it's not possible and that kind of thing. And, that's something that you need to really try hard to tune out, to not let those kind of thoughts that want to come in affect you and what you're doing. But when I say try hard, I don't mean to focus all of your energy and your attention on that. Because if you do that, really it's you're doing exactly what it wanted you to do. You're focusing on it and not what you were trying to do. So it needs to be a very subtle type of thing. Once you get it, and once you feel it, once you understand, you'll see what I mean. It's one of those things. It's like riding a bike or things like that. It's very difficult. It's much more difficult to explain how you do this than it is to explain to someone how you go about riding a bike. But then again, somebody, once you have established that balance on a bicycle, you really can't explain the exact mechanics behind what that is and what you need to do to establish that balance. It's one of those things that once you find it, you find it. And once you feel it and you're doing it, you put it all together and it all comes full circle. And then you have that connection established. And then the light bulb goes off and you know what to do. And then you can do it again and again and again. A lot of these things are exactly like that. They're very hard to explain to someone else because there are aspects of it that are so internalized, things that have a particular feel to it, a particular, the words really just, it's very difficult to explain or describe exactly what it is that you're doing to establish a connection or to make it all work. So I definitely try my best to relay the information in a way that makes sense, in a way that you can apply it so that it will be something that you can do as well. But I can only really do and explain so much. You'll have to just pick it up with that and do whatever it is that you need to do for you to make it work for you. There could be some different things that you would have to change in order to establish that connection that will work for you personally, because everybody is different. Oh, thank you, Christine. I appreciate it. I try. Yes, it does. It takes practice. I mean, all this stuff takes practice. I mean, shit. Everything in life does, as I explained before. Now, all right. I want to see what you guys know about this shit. This is some crazy shit. I don't even know what to think of it. I don't even know if it's real. I don't know. Fuck. I just had it. What's this dude's name? I wrote it down here. This is like, again, it's crazy. When I say crazy, I mean, the shit that I do is crazy, right? But this is really fucking out there. It's some like alien, extraterrestrial type of shit that apparently a lot of people believe in. That kind of thing. Let me find this here. I had it pulled up, but my phone jumped off of it. Seeing again, if I wouldn't have written this down, then I wouldn't have been able to get back to it, right? Okay, here it is. All right, let me type this. Let me find this guy. There he is. Okay, all right. Okay, looks like this dude's been on like TV and shit, maybe, but this dude's name is Good. I think it's Good. But so yesterday he posted some shit And he's talking about, I mean, maybe this is just some fake shit and I'm an idiot, but with the comments that he's getting, these people definitely seem like they're taking it seriously. This is not a joke, or it's not some type of science fiction shit, but it definitely seems like it would be. All right. So I'm just going to kind of read it and see what you guys think and see if you've heard of it. So this is from December the 13th, his post. He's saying, thank you for your patience on the update. It had a number of briefings in the recent weeks from Earth Alliance, as well as SSP Alliance sources. Some interesting situations and meetings with non-terrestrial groups. One experience, he was pulled up into a Mayan ship, and he found himself in the middle of a strange battle between the Mayans and a very human-looking reptoid being. He was further shocked when he was pulled into an SSP Alliance meeting in the LOC and saw Sigmund sitting at the conference table with a smirk on his face. I don't know who that dude is. He's picked up in a dart into the underground flight bay that is a part of a bell-shaped structure under the lunar surface base, and is briefed on a number of battles that have been going on under the surface of the Earth and its oceans, as well as within the atmosphere and near the Earth orbit. And he's kind of got an art rendering of what this, I guess, on the moon's surface or under the moon's surface, some crazy looking shit. I don't know what this is all about. But it's all like, you know, like there's some shit going down. What the fuck is this? You know, like, so they're talking about space wars and fucking, you're like, I don't even know, man. I don't know. Fuck if I know. You know, if it is true, it's fucking crazy. But who knows? I don't know. Does anybody else know about this shit? Oh yeah, hey, you know about it, Mystic Mama thing, don't you? This fucking Corey Good guy with his alien shit. With that, what is this? Can you explain to us a little bit of like what the hell is going on with it? And again, I mean, if this is just like some science fiction shit that's, you know, fake and whatever, I'm just a fucking idiot. That's possible. I just saw it this morning and it kind of got my attention, and I was like, what the hell is this? You know, there's shit going on everywhere that I don't know about anyway, because I really at times am not on the up and up with what is going on currently in the world. You know, because I'm an occultist, I'm not really into popular culture very much like that. So that's just me, though. I don't have time, but I just happened to see that. What's up, Dylan? How you doing, man? Fuck. Yeah. I guess nobody. Does anybody like? So y'all don't know what's up with this dude? And what's up with this alien shit? I think you do, Nina. What's up with it? So what is? I don't even know what that is. The cosmic disclosure? Is that some like conspiracy theory, intergalactic, solar system, alien race, end of the world, doomsday shit, or what is it? Because I really don't know. I'm not really into aliens and things like that. I mean, I know they exist. I'm sure they exist. I mean, they gotta fucking exist. We can't be the only form of life out here. But okay. So you're open to this? Is David Wilcock? Is he that dude with the crazy hair on Ancient Aliens, or that dude's fucking, he's out there. But you know, it's those kind of people that may seem a little crazy and eccentric and out there that you know, a lot of times those are the brilliant ones, and those are the ones that are onto something, you know, in many cases. So, you know, I may laugh at the guy and think he's got funny hair and, you know, some really crazy outlooks on things, but, you know, the motherfucker might be right, you know. He might have the last laugh, you know what I mean? Hard to say, you know, it's really hard to say, but I mean, I know they're out there, and I'm sure that they, and, you know, they're probably pushing all kinds of buttons and pulling all kinds of strings, you know. I mean, you know, for all we know, all these spirits that we communicate with could just be aliens, right? You know, who knows? I mean, I could be half alien. One of you guys could be half alien. Oh, it is. Oh, it is that guy. I love that dude, man. You know, like when I'm 45 or 50, I'm gonna do my hair like that and shit. But hey, if I could be on a show like that, on Ancient Aliens or something, shit, fuck yeah, I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd be like, shit, dude, you love this hair. You love this shit. That's why you watch the show, because my fucking shit's crazy, right? I'd be totally fine with being crazy fuck like that. No, oh, he's the blonde guy with blue eyes. I don't know him. Canadian or something like that. Supposedly. I think that's what they look like, right? Like long blonde hair and blue eyes or something. You know, I know a little bit about some of this shit, but not a whole hell of a lot. You know, star seeds and fucking that kind of thing. Some people are really into that, though. You know, some people are really dig the whole alien thing, and they're really into the whole sci-fi thing and all of that. And I think, you know, it's cool. There's, you know, some romanticism involved in believing a lot of this stuff. Oh, the whites. So you think the whites are aliens as well? I think that aliens live in the mountains and live in the oceans and all of that shit. So I think those whites do, right? So you know, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen anything that I would think would have been an alien and not a spirit or something. You know, the crazy thing is that when I was younger, I didn't really even realize at the time. Oh, okay. When I saw these spirits, they looked just like we do. They were solid. Looked like they were alive, with different aspects of like so they were pretty much expressionless, and they would kind of just be, well, I wouldn't say that they were always just standing there. I had one come into my house. The first one that I ever saw, I used to take drum lessons when I was a kid, and this my teacher came on Mondays and Wednesdays, and he come to my house. And this one day, we were going to watch a VHS tape, because this is back in like 1989 or something, 88, 89, something like that, of this drummer Carmine Apiece. And so I was going to, like, it was like an instructional thing, but there's also a lot of him just, you know, playing drums and whatnot. So we're sitting there on the floor watching this video, And it was just me and my dad at that time. And he, he left at like 5 in the morning, and he didn't get home till like 8 or 9 at night. So I just kind of always did my own thing, since I was probably like 7 years old. And we always came in and out through the back door of our house off of the deck. And we're sitting there watching this video, and the door opens, and this guy walks in, and he looks a lot like one of my dad's friends, named Fitzgerald. And I thought that it was him. So I just kind of like looked over at him, and he looked at me and David, my instructor. And since it was somebody that was familiar to me, I figured that maybe my dad was there too. And I really didn't think anything of it, And the guy looked at us, and he just kept walking and went on in the back of the house. And, like I said, we really didn't think anything of it. We just kept watching the TV, watching the video. And as, time went on, the video was over, and I realized that my dad had never come in the house, and that the guy had just walked back. And at the back of our house, we lived in like a 3-bedroom rancher, so there really wasn't anywhere that he's, could go. All right, I'll see you later, Christine. Nice to meet you too. Yeah, hope you catch it again as well. So I realized that this guy went into the back of the house, but he's never come back out. My dad never showed up. And so, maybe 30 minutes later, my dad comes home, and I'm like, were you here when your buddy Fitzgerald came over? And he came in the back door and like went back like towards the bedrooms, and nobody was back there though. House, like, no, there was, it wasn't him. It wasn't my dad's friend, but it looked like him though. And since somebody did go back there and they never came back out, it couldn't have been a person. It had to have been a spirit, but it looked like a fucking person. And the dude opened the damn door. You could hear him walking. He looked just like a person. It was crazy. And the second time it happened, I was about 13, and I went to South Carolina to visit my mom and my stepdad. And my stepdad was running a bowling center at the time. He was like the general manager of one of them or something, or several of them. And while I was down there for 2 weeks, I was going to make some extra money, so I was going to paint the nursery in the bowling center for him. So we get there early, and the bowling center and that kind of stuff. There's some like video games on and shit like that. But there's really not much noise or anything. All the lanes are dark. And the nursery is all the way to the back on the right-hand side. And so we're walking back there towards it to take a look at it. And I look over at like the like concession area, and it's just like a little open stand, but it was like a galley kitchen type of deal. So it was like long and narrow. And then there were, at the very end of it, there was a hallway that kind of, was perpendicular to the kitchen. And right there in the center, there was this lady standing there. And she looked like she was wearing, it could have been like a food service type of outfit, but at the same time, I think about it now, it was like more like a nurse's type of thing. And she was just standing there, just staring at me, and I thought she worked there. Anything to my stepdad, I just glanced over at her, I saw her, and I was like, okay, and just kept on going back there, and looking at the nursery. And we got to talking, and I mentioned the lady, and my stepdad kind of got this weird look on his face, and he was like, there's nobody else here. Like, it's fucking 9 o'clock in the morning. This shit doesn't open until 11. Like, nobody else will get here until about that time, maybe quarter till. And I was like, dude, I just saw her like 5 minutes ago, just like I'm looking at you. And that's when he like kind of decided to tell me all of the crazy shit that happens at that bowling center all the time. Like the jukebox coming on and going off, and the fucking lights going on and going off, and the little ball return shit, like, and weird supernatural things that happened there. But apparently, I saw her, And she looked just like we do. I mean, straight up, she looked just like a solid person. There was nothing transparent about her. She wasn't floating above the ground. She was standing on the freaking floor, and she was fully dressed. And like I said, she looked just like we do. Yeah, it was crazy. And so maybe she was an alien. Maybe both of those were aliens and they weren't spirits because they were so solid and physical in that manner. You know, I don't know. You know, and I'm sure, and I want to say there have been other instances like that. And it's crazy because these individuals, they look so much like people that are alive that at the time when you see them, you may not even realize that it's not a person that you're looking at, or that has said something to you and kept walking, you know, like it was a freaking spirit, you know. And like once you realize it and you think about it later and you realize you were in that situation with them in that close of proximity and this and that, it'll definitely send chills up your spine. You know, especially since back in those days, I didn't really work with spirits or anything like that. I mean, I've always been obsessed with paranormal things since I was like 5 years old, but you know, I was terrified of that shit. So that was crazy. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced anything like that, seeing any type of spirit or entity that was as solid as we are like that. I've never really had a total of a spirit during evocation. I have seen, I saw Lucifer once as a child, you know, the representation of him as a child. When I was on my treadmill one time, kind of like meditating on him. So it's kind of like this weird, like, you know, I guess I was just so deep in the Theta Gamma sync while I was jogging that I was able to see that full materialization, but it still wasn't solid like that, really. It was kind of like a mix between it happening in my mind's eye and seeing this image standing before me. It wasn't like it was when I saw these spirits. They were actually like walking across the floor, and now you could hear their feet moving across the floor and see them in a three-dimensional type of way. It was just still mind-blowing when I think about it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right too. I mean, I think the aliens or the Egyptians, a lot of these gods that they were worshiping, you know, were definitely aliens of some sort, or time travelers, or whatever. You know, it's wild, a lot of the way that they describe things, and the way that like the Mayans had described things too, very, very similar, you know, and they're across the ocean from one another. There's no way in hell they would have had any real communication. So for them to depict a lot of these things in the same way, there's definitely something to it. You know, whether it was just a element or aspect of spirit evocation, and they were getting the same information because they were actually dealing with the same spirit in a lot of the same way that a lot of us will receive a lot of the same information around the same time. You know, that's definitely had that happen. So what have you seen? You haven't seen people, but what have you seen? Like, there, Violet? Yeah, and definitely near the pyramids. Yeah, most everything I've seen have been people. I mean, I've seen some other scary shit, but I really couldn't put together exactly what it was. Oh, really? Semen is the key to accomplish an encounter of the fourth kind. It's very possible. Yeah, sexual alchemy is a very, very powerful thing. I'm actually going to be doing some writing about that here very soon. That's funny that you mentioned that. That's my boy Mentizo on here, and he's getting ready to release an ebook anthology of sorts. I'm not really sure who all is contributing exactly, but it's going to be freaking awesome. It really is. I'm telling you. And it's really funny because that, what we're talking about right now kind of goes along with that. I was going to write for this anthology about healing and things of that nature, but when I sat down to write it, something entirely different resulted from the state of mind that I got into when I sat down to write this, and I ended up writing something just not even close to subject matter of healing. And it's funny because all of the other contributors, all of their articles, or I think most of them, ended up being along the same lines philosophically as what my article was. And so that's really strange when you have something like that happen, when you have a group of people that are going to be contributing to something, as a whole, and that are kind of along the same of information, to where they all kind of complement each other very well. And that's none of us have been in communication with each other like that. So I didn't really know what anybody else was writing about, and I'm sure they thought I was writing about healing. I don't know, but I had no idea. And so it was just really funny that that happened in that way. It's crazy. You saw an intense love. Okay, so when you were a kid, you saw a bright light that engulfed you completely when you were in a dark room, and it felt like pure euphoria. Yeah, I would say like you probably had an encounter with an incubus. I would say if you felt that euphoria, kind of like a entire body energetic orgasm, so to speak. If it wasn't an incubus, it was definitely a spirit that was capable of stimulating you in that way, and it doesn't have to be purely sexual. It can be more of a whole body energetic type of thing that really has nothing to do with your sexual organs and things of that nature, but it can kind of produce the same type of physical effects and sensations and stimulate nerves and whatnot, and brain receptors and all that kind of thing in the same manner as the physical act of lovemaking would, but really on a whole nother level, much more profound level than any type of physical contact could ever be. It's really something, and I've experienced this many times, and that's why I want to write about it. It's been something that I've really gotten a lot into over the years, and not really by choice, that's just how it is gone. That's just how it goes. And it's not a constant thing, but it's something that I experience quite often. Okay. Yeah, a lot of times though, it's those fuckers, they'll come to see you when they want to, and if you want them to come and see you, they don't always reciprocate or cooperate in that manner. They'll be selfish assholes like that. But I mean, there's ways that you can do it. It's very difficult to establish that connection in that way, to where They will truly be at your beck and call. I bet you do want that again. I know, right? Well, there's ways to do it. We'll talk about it. And yeah, I know, Nina. I know you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and you do have a lot of sexual energy, Nina. That's for sure. Yeah, no, typical, right? I know. They'll give you a taste and then they'll just leave you like, frustrated as hell. Typical, like a typical fucking woman. That I wanted to throw that in there. I think that is important that I throw that the gender part in there. Yeah. Well, I know that I got a late start. Everybody, joined me today. Oh, it's cool. I'm joking. No, I'm not really, but I'm gonna say that I am. But I've got a Christmas party today at my office for my employees. We don't have much going on today. That could change any second because it's an emergency-based business, but I'm going to attempt to do this today in about an hour. So I've got to go get things together for that. I got to stop and pick a few things up and then go and chill out and eat some food and, do that thing that you do this time of year. So, and I hope that all of you have an awesome, awesome fucking day. And I appreciate you guys tuning in and participating and all of that, because it's always freaking awesome to see all of you. Love you all. What's up, Shaylin? Good to see you. But yeah. Oh, I want to get with you too, so we can do that podcast too. Shaylin, I'm sorry. Check her channel out too. Shaylin on the Watchtower. Her shit is awesome. So check her out. And I'm going to be doing a podcast with her here whenever we can coordinate it. So that will be sometime very soon. But anyhow, I hope you guys have a good weekend. I may jump on here over the weekend if I can. I've got some things that I'll be recording, but I don't know if I'm going to be doing. What's up, Nexus? What's up, man? You have a good day too, and I'll get with you too, man. I'm sorry that I couldn't get with you, but I'll get with you on that. That's something that's coming up in the future anyhow, so it's no rush and it's no, it's not anything that's urgent. It's got to happen anytime soon, but we'll talk about it. But anyway, yeah. So I hope you guys all fucking have a good Friday and a good weekend. And, yeah. That before I was even ready for it to do that, but that's how it goes, Just how it goes sometimes. But guess I'll leave you guys with on my way out. Listen to it if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't fucking do it. It's it's your call. It's whatever you want to do. But I'll see you guys later on. Peace.
I wanted to fly like the birds that you see way up in the sky, making circles in the morning sun, flying high in the sky till the day is done. I can't break away like a child in his fantasy punching holes in the walls of reality. All my life I wanted to fly, but I don't have the wings, and I wonder why. I can't break away. I can't break away. When I was young, stand tall, but you're never. Oh, you can be what you wanna be, but you can't change the course of your destiny. I can't break away. No, 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 I can't break away. One is one, two is two. You want me and I have you. Black is black and white is white. So I'm in the middle tree. Day and night I can't go away. No, 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 I can't break away. And I was young, stand tall, girl, you can't be what you wanna be, but you can't change the course of your destiny. Oh, no, 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 I can't make you away. I can't.
You still here? What the fuck are you guys doing, man? Get the fuck out of here. Shit. It's over. See ya.